Okay, so first of all, I apologise for the awful quality of this. I really need to find a filming space with better lighting. Anyway, so I just got back from the first showing of Cats, the movie musical, at my local cinema. And to be honest, I'm still trying to work out how I feel about it. It's somehow simultaneously better and worse than I was expecting it to be, judging from the trailers. And actually, a lot of my predictions in the video I did about the first trailer were accurate, surprisingly. I mean, there were some things about it that I did really like, and I mean, that genuinely surprised me because I was expecting it to just be irredeemably bad. But there were some good things about it. It is not a good film, having said that. I was lucky because I work at the cinema, so I was able to get in to see it for free. I would not pay to go and see this film, and there were people like walking out of it as well. Okay, so first things first, the good side of things. The Skimbleshanks song was really good. I really enjoyed that, actually. I think that was the best kind of overall song in it. Skimbleshanks tap dances in it, which, I mean, some people might not enjoy that. I really liked it because it was like the tapping kind of imitated the sound of a train. And it was just really great tap dancing in general. I really enjoyed Skimbleshanks' song. Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteaser's song was good as well. I think those two were definitely the best. Just kind of the energy that they had, that was the thing. No, I'll save the bad stuff for later. They expanded the plot, or made it kind of more embedded in it, which was good, because otherwise it would have been like nothing on earth, pretty much. And essentially Victoria, played by, I think, Francesca Hayward, she kind of took the place of the audience, so she was like the new cat being brought in and like having all this stuff explained to her, which is like the laziest possible way to do exposition, but who cares at that point, you know. And I think she's a ballet dancer with the Royal Ballet, and it showed. I mean, her dancing was fantastic. The guy who played Munkustrap was good, whose name I can't remember right now. He had a really good voice. He had like the majority of the singing all the way through. He was really good, and like his dancing, he doesn't dance much, but there was one bit, I think it's like in the Jellicle Ball section, where he kind of just suddenly kind of busted out, like, you know, jumping and spinning, and I was just kind of like, whoa, okay, you know, you should be dancing more. I'll get to the choreography in a bit. Ian McKellen doing Gus's song was good, and he was also responsible for the only time I laughed through it. James Corden did better than I was expecting. Jennifer Hudson was quite good. Idris Elba did better than I was expecting. Honestly, that's pretty much it I can think of for the good side of things. Oh, and also they'd like fluffed the cats up a bit more. Like, they're no longer kind of like skin tight leotard cats that they were, the like completely furless cats that they were in the trailer, they do have like noticeable fur now. Jennifer Hudson, I think, looked the best in that regard. Like, she looked the least kind of horrifying of them. They still look awful, but Jennifer Hudson did okay. Yeah, I genuinely think that's it with the good stuff. Okay, on to kind of the stuff that I can't really work out how I feel about it. I can't work out how I feel about them expanding the plot in the way that they did. They have I don't know like whether I should try not to spoil it or anything, because the plot is still like very thin. But they added Macavity popping up, like genuinely popping up all the way through, as opposed to like in the stage version where, you know, you kind of think he's there and he's not, but they had him kind of popping up all the way through, which I think made more sense. But then they also added in like this kind of side thing of him kind of tempting the other. His whole deal in this is essentially he wants to be the one to be chosen to be reborn, as opposed to just like, I'm gonna mess with these cats just for the hell of it, which it kind of is in the stage show. It's kind of a weak ass motivation, if I'm honest. Like, there's no real reason why he given why he particularly wants to be reborn. Like, he's not dissatisfied with his life, he's not, you know, it doesn't make sense, but they gave him this added motivation. So yeah, he kind of pops up all the way through, but he like tempts the other cats. Like, he offers like Buster for Jones a massive kind of trash can full of food, and he tries to get Gus's autograph, and I mean, Skimbleshanks, he just like vanishes. You know, he doesn't even bother trying to tempt him. He's just like, yep, I'm taking you. And he dumps them on Growltiger's barge in the Thames. Growltiger's in this, actually, by the way. Barely, but he's in it. They like escape later on in a weak ass battle that's not nearly as impressive as the fight in the stage version, where they're all kind of like leaping. You shouldn't go in trying to compare this to the stage version, because you will be incredibly disappointed on that front. It is pitiful in comparison. I'm glad that they kind of expanded the plot so it wasn't just, you know, a collection of songs strung together with nothing. At the same time, they didn't quite go far enough, I think. Like, they could have done a lot more with it than they did. The choreography is the other thing that I'm not really sure about. There are bits of it that I really enjoyed. A lot of the Jellicle Ball stuff was good. As I said, the Skimbleshanks I loved, actually. Someone just needs to put that scene on YouTube and I'll be happy. I will never have to watch the rest of the film again. I could just sit and watch that scene. The Mungo, Jerry and Rumpelteazer choreography was good because they were all like slinking about. Some of the time it was really kind of it looked as though some care had gone into the choreography to make them appear feline and graceful and all of that, and then other times it was breakdancing, which, you know, I don't necessarily mind Tugger doing it, because his whole thing is like, he's, you know, the cool cat. He's kind of like the Pharaoh in Joseph, you know, he's like whatever's the epitome of cool at the current moment in time. You know, that's what Tugger embodies, essentially. So I don't mind the idea of him breakdancing. Everyone else, it just looked weird. Because, you know, they'd be kind of like doing these very like long, graceful stuff, and then all of a sudden it would just be like jerking about, and yeah, it just looked weird. And the tail, oh my god, the tails. Okay, they'd animated the tails to dance as well, and I mean like dance, as in there were joints inside the tail, which It looked ridiculous. Can't work out if I liked Idris Elba as McCavity or not. He was fine when he didn't sing. And there were times when he did actually look quite menacing, but then towards the end throughout the entire film he wears like this ratty fur overcoat and like a hat as well, and towards the end takes off the coat and the hat, and it's just like it looks like Idris Elba in a brown leotard. It looks ridiculous, and like all the menace is just completely gone by that point, which is stupid because that's technically when he's at his scariest in the whatever story there is. I honestly can't work out if I liked him in it or not. The bad stuff is pretty much everything else. Rebel Wilson, I'm sure she's perfectly nice as a person. I really do not like her as an actress or a comedian. I just do not find her funny at all. And my God, she was so cringy in this, and her singing, seriously, the less said about that, the better. Turns out the most terrifying thing in this film is not any of the cats, it's the mice. Yeah, there are, like, they did the exact same thing, but mice. It looks... I mean, I said, I keep saying the cats look horrifying. The mice are legitimately demons of hell. Dear God. Seriously, whoever thought that was a good idea should just reevaluate their life, essentially. A lot of the jokes didn't actually make sense. Like, there was a moment when all the cats, essentially, apart from Idris Elba, all the cats basically sing their own song. So it's not like he's this cat or she's this cat, it's I'm whoever, So Bustopher Jones sings Bustopher Jones, which is essentially a song all about how fat he is. And, it's stated numerous times throughout the song, and he's there singing it, and then halfway through the song, they do this joke that was in the second trailer of he's standing on one end of a plank and another cat kind of jumps onto the end, and of course it doesn't. And so they paused the song for James Corden to do his thing. At some point during that, he says something like, "You know how sensitive I am about my weight." And I'm just like, you've just been singing an entire song about how fat you are. Unapologetically, proudly. And then, they sort it all out, the song resumes, and pretty much the very next bit that he sings is, "I'm a 25-pounder or I am a bounder and I'm putting on weight every day." And I'm just there like, oh, so you're sensitive about your weight, huh? I kind of get the feeling it was just, Tom Hooper was just like, "Hey, James, just do your thing." And James just ad-libbed that. The jokes have to make sense. And a lot of the Rebel Wilson's jokes as well, just for the exact same reason that they just don't make sense, just completely fall flat. Like, I wasn't kidding earlier, there was one joke that I laughed at, and I'm not entirely sure it was even intentional. The guy who plays Tugger, someone needed to tell him to just pick an accent. Like, he comes in, he's trying to do a Cockney accent, it's somewhere in between Dick Van Dyke and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Their attempts at a Cockney accent. His is kind of almost right down the middle of that. It's really not good. But then, he'll suddenly fade into American halfway through, and I'm just like, again, Tugger's kind of meant to be the cool cat. It's perfectly fine to have him as an American. In fact, I'd say, given the choice between having him have an American accent or having him have a Cockney accent. I'd say American, definitely. So yeah, that was stupid. I mean, that's kind of how I describe this entire film, to be honest. It's just like stupid decision after stupid decision. Tom Hooper should not be in charge of directing musicals. I'm just going to say that now. He did the exact same thing that he did in Les Mis, of just like, if, you know, they're meant to be singing, if it's at a point where they're meant to be singing to the audience, oh, I'm just going to stand there with them kind of in a shot like that, staring off wide-eyed into the middle distance, and do it like that. Which, I mean, look, just do something more interesting than that, you know? That's precisely what you have to do if you're on stage, you know? There's no way around that. In film, there are plenty of ways around that, you know? It was... Oh, another good thing, actually, that I can't remember if I said, they gave Victoria a new song, which is nice. Francesca Hayward doesn't have... I think it was her singing as well. She doesn't have, like, the strongest voice. I can't talk, but, you know. But, yeah, she has a nice voice, and it was a very kind of pretty song. Kind of forgettable, but pretty. Judi Dench, God bless her, was trying. This is the thing, you could tell all of them were trying, and it hardly ever paid off. And I just feel so sorry for them, really. I don't feel sorry for anyone on the creative side, because really anyone at any point should have just thrown up their hands and said, you know what, this is a stupid idea, I don't know what we were thinking. I feel sorry for the performers, because they kind of have to live with this. And with the sight of their horrific cat CGI faces, you know, preserved on film forever. The thing I said when the trailer came out still stands. I honestly do not know why this exists when there was a perfectly good, you know, filmed recreation of the stage show, which, you know, yes, it missed out Growl Tiger, and they had a new version of Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer, which, I mean, I actually prefer to the more kind of jazzy one that they have in this and in the stage show. But, you know, it was perfectly decent, and I think that's all it's all anyone who actually enjoys Cats would want. This, just when there are so many other musical movie projects, or, you know, musicals that have the potential to be made into movies as well, I don't know why anyone would kind of look at Cats and say, oh yeah, we'll do this. Yeah, I may like do another video in a couple of days once I've kind of like thought about it a bit more and assessed properly kind of how I feel about it. This is kind of like my instinctive reaction. And also I'm going to react to the In the Heights trailer as well, because that one I am actually looking forward to. And I need kind of a good, hopefully good thing to like cleanse my palate from this, whatever the hell this was. I mean, overall, I really wouldn't recommend going to see it. You know, if you are kind of morbidly curious, you know, feel free. Like I said, there are some good aspects of it. On the whole, I'd save your money, honestly. And, you know, if it's ever on TV, watch it there. I honestly can't see it doing very well. I mean, about 8 people walked out of this, and it was the very first showing. I'm certainly not anticipating it doing very well, which is a shame because, you know, I don't want the powers that be in Hollywood to have any kind of excuse to say, oh no, we're not going to make movie musicals anymore because they're not making us money. I want this to continue. I just want good end results from it, which this just isn't. As always, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, whatever, and I will get around to reacting to In the Heights either tomorrow or within a couple of days. So yeah, I'll see you then. Okay, bye.